Hi, everyone. My name's Maddie, and I'm a psychotherapist at My Therapy NYC. And today I'm here to talk about avoidance anxiety. Avoidance is something that we've all probably done at one point or another in our lives. And sometimes we do it for good reason. We might avoid certain situations out of fear for our safety, or we might even avoid like a certain food because it made us sick one time. In some ways, we can really kind of look at our avoidance as an extension of our fight, flight, or freeze response. Sometimes a little bit closer to that, like freeze or flight response, right? Avoiding danger, discomfort, or harm is often how we stay safe, and it allows us to feel comfortable and set into a level of safety in our day to day lives. In addition, sometimes other positive behaviors can be mistaken for avoidance. So things like prioritizing important tasks or rest over other less important things might sometimes feel like avoidance, but in reality, those are just things that we do to live efficiently, right? It's more of a tool rather than maybe a more negative behavior. Although avoidance can play a really protective factor in our lives sometimes we do avoid doing things that may be in our best interest. And I think that this most often happens in instances where we might have to tolerate a smaller amount of discomfort in order to reap some larger reward. So, a great example of this might be setting a boundary with a friend or a family member. I know it can be really scary in the moment to express your needs in a vulnerable way, but in the end, once you've done it, you and your friend have more clarity and trust in each other because you were able to speak through your needs and agree on something together. And if we avoid setting boundaries, we might feel stuck, we might feel helpless, we might even end up feeling kind of resentful in that relationship, leading us to avoid that relationship even further. This cycle can be really nasty and lead to a pattern of more avoidance, leaving you feeling really anxious because your needs are being unmet. Your relationship might feel distant, might feel tumultuous, really feels like there is no closure in that relationship. And so we kind of get stuck with this uneasy feeling of anxiety. So what do we do to break the cycle, right? That's the big question. Um, and I would say first off, we need to turn our attention inwards and explore our core emotions. An example of a core emotion in my earlier example could have possibly been fear, sadness, or anger. So you might have been feeling afraid that your boundary might be rejected, maybe feeling sad that your friend did something unthoughtful, maybe feeling angry that they did something to upset you, right? All of these are very real emotions that we might be experiencing that we might also be avoiding because they feel a little bit scary. So, next, once you've identified your core emotion, really what you have to do is just take some time to understand and care for that feeling, right? And then identify a positive need. Oftentimes, this is the thing that we've been avoiding. So, in my example, a positive need could have been letting your friend know about your feelings or asking them to support you in a different way in the future, right? That can be a scary conversation, but in the end, you're getting what you need, right? And you can kind of move forward and feel clear instead of just feeling anxious. So, after exploring your core emotion, you might realize that your task may feel too big to address on your own. And really, that's okay. Oftentimes, that's why we're avoiding something, is because it might feel too big to deal with by ourselves. And so, if that's the case, this might be a time to enlist some outside help. Mobilizing your support network, including your friends, maybe a therapist, or exploring your alternative options, or learning ways to split that big task into smaller pieces can all be really helpful ways to move through a larger thing that you have been avoiding. And I do think that we can also use our friends to help split these tasks into smaller, more manageable pieces. So, although these steps may feel daunting at the beginning, the more that we address problems head on, the more we're able to tap into our own positive feelings of self advocacy, resilience, confidence, and we're better able to stay in touch with our emotions and mobilize our supports effectively. In turn, we might feel more comfortable doing these things regularly, and eventually they just become a standard practice in our lives, right? So, in conclusion, when we find ourselves avoiding things out of anxiety, there are things that we can definitely do, right? First, we need to understand the cycle of avoidance, tap into our core feelings, identify our needs, and if needed, mobilize our supports. If you found this video helpful or you have any questions, please leave a comment below. And if you're interested in more information, definitely check out our website, mytherapynyc.com. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.